morning. Today we are releasing a special examination of the Kentucky Association of Counties, or KACo. This exam found a self-serving culture at KACo that resulted in more than $3 million in excessive or questionable spending over a 3-year period. The exam found that weak policies and inadequate board oversight allowed the organization to stray from its purpose of maximizing benefits back to the counties. As KACo's revenues increased 75% over a 6-year period, taking the annual budget to more than $5.7 million, so did the level of discretionary spending by the organization, spending that could have provided reduced costs or expanded services to the counties. This self-serving culture flourished as many board members, management, and staff benefited from spending on lavish dinners, alcohol, sports and entertainment tickets, staff birthday meals, and extravagant Christmas parties. The lack of board oversight included weak internal controls, minimal conflicts of interest and ethics policies, and no whistleblower policy. The exam reviews KACo finances from July 1st, 2006 to June 30th, 2009 and makes 40 findings. Most importantly, the exam details more than 150 recommendations to improve board oversight and accountability and management operations at KACo. The exam reviews the organization's policies and procedures, as well as their financial activities of the former executive director and the key management team. The exam also reviews the spending records of 1 current and 3 past presidents active during the examination period, and summarizes the results for all remaining staff members who held credit cards and were involved in any of these expenses. Auditors questioned more than $3 million in expenditures for this 3-year exam period. The exam found nearly $2 million charged on agency credit cards over that 3-year time frame. $1.4 million of these charges had inadequate or no supporting documentation, an unclear business purpose, or were excessive in nature. The chart on my right is a sample page from the report that shows where we detail the specific charges. So everything we mentioned that totals that $1.4 million in credit card charges that had a question is detailed in this manner. This is simply a sample page from the report to give you an idea of that detail. On my left is a chart where we summarize all of the significant question costs. The list includes, at the top, the credit cards charges that we questioned, the $1.4 million. And under that, that second block of numbers is an example, a list of examples of specifics that were questioned in the credit card charges. More than $219,000 for 77 restaurant charges that cost more than $1,000 each. 2 board Christmas dinners totaling more than $48,000. $43,000 on alcohol, and that's a cost, as we note on the chart, $43,000 that can be documented. Auditors believe that amount is significantly higher, but because detailed receipts were missing, based on conversations and interviews with the staff, we believe that that amount is higher, but that's the amount we can document. Roughly $28,000 on entertainment and sports tickets, nearly $12,000 on staff birthday lunches, just over $7,000 on staff Christmas gifts, $3,000 on other board and staff gifts, just over $8,000 on air travel insurance, and that includes personal death benefit insurance as well as lost baggage insurance, items that we question because it seems personal in nature. $2,000 on a conference meal at the Kentucky Judges Association conference, where KACo members left to attend another dinner that was charged to KACo when in fact their meals had already been paid for as part of the registration at the other conference. And $890 on adult entertainment charges. These adult entertainment charges have been mentioned in the press previously. We conducted our own investigation with our auditors and found additional evidence that is related to the use of the cards by the cardholders. And we'll talk about that if you have additional questions later. Also, on this chart on my left, we list other questioned expenditures beyond credit card charges that are at the top. KACo paid a second retirement benefit to its employees. The organization paid more than $622,000 for an employee's 6% retirement match into the Public Employee Deferred Compensation Authority. That's in addition to KACo employees being in the county employee retirement system, for which KACo pays a match of over 13%. Other items questioned were $334,000 to pay board members to attend meetings, $278,000 for legal defense for convicted officials, $247,000 for a sports advertising contract with no clear benefit back to the organization, $83,000 for donations and sponsorships, and $12,600 for the use of 2 condominiums in Frankfurt. The board allowed the executive director of KACo to have unchecked spending authority and did not have sufficient detailed understanding of its annual budget, and the board received no formal documented orientation or training. Our examination provides the leadership of KACo the proper tools to continue to improve oversight going forward and to fulfill its responsibilities to the counties and the taxpayers, and I believe the public expects no less. In this current economic downturn, when our counties are struggling and our families are struggling, our citizens have no patience for waste and excess from those who hold their trust and handle tax dollars. By all accounts, the Kentucky Association of Counties has provided quality services and savings to the counties through its programs over the years. But they must now place a priority on providing those services in an efficient manner that maximizes the benefit and the return to the counties, and in a manner that demonstrates responsibility in keeping with the public's expectations. The KACo board has taken numerous steps recently as a result of public scrutiny and media reports to begin to achieve greater accountability. And in their response to this exam, which is included in the document, the KACo board indicates a commitment toward moving forward with reforms and toward accepting these recommendations as part of their moving forward and strengthening the organization. And I'd like to add that there were board members, leaders, and employees of KACo who did not participate in these excesses that are evidenced in the exam and who worked effectively and professionally despite the culture that developed. We are encouraged by the board leadership's response. I particularly want to thank Mike Foster, the chairman of the board, who provided that response on behalf of the board and who has been in contact with us throughout this process and been very cooperative. We are encouraged by their response because for true reform to occur, the leadership of KACo must consistently demonstrate a change in its attitude and culture. And we're confident that if our recommendations are implemented, KACo will be headed in the right direction of restoring trust and accountability to this important statewide resource. Now, before I open for questions, I'd like to thank the auditing team who worked on the audit. Brian Likens, here on my left, is the Director of Special Examinations and Information Technology. Brian headed this team, managed this effort, but he also simultaneously has been handling the League of Cities audit, so he's put in incredible hours and professional commitment to an outstanding work product. Cindy James, the Assistant State Auditor, is to his left, who is number 2 in our office. But the rest of this team included Tiffany Welch, Jim Bondurant, Ashley Royce, Gina Schau, Julie Skeeters, Tobin Snedeker, Beth Wheeler, Randy Crable, Valerie Young, Jeff Fryman, Jill Lemaster, Hank Phillips, Kathleen Wright, and Karen Tucker. This team did an outstanding job. This is a great body of work that was done in a very short period of time. And again, the most important aspects of it are not any specific evidence of wrongdoing, but what we learned from the way the money was being spent that allowed us to put forward 150 recommendations to strengthen management and accountability going forward. And this team's professionalism and diligence helped to create a very significant piece of work that will be a tool to guide this agency into the future. With that, I'll be glad to open it up for any questions. I know it's a complicated report with a great deal of information. Brian's here as well to assist me if you have specifics about how any of the work was conducted.